Yep.
So what do you guys think that the drinking age is in those countries? In 115 countries, it ranges between ages 18 and 19. In 5, it is 21. And the National Minimum Drinking Age Act of 1984 called for all of the states in the United States to raise their drinking age to 21 or potentially lose millions in federal highway funds. Which leads us to our current debate today in regards to if the United States should lower the drinking age or allow it to remain the same. There are 3 key factors that define this topic, starting with why at age 18 you are considered an adult, but you can't purchase alcohol, and why if you can join the military, you cannot consume or purchase alcohol. And our third reason is the effects that it would have on the people in this age range if they were to legally be able to consume alcohol. So, as we approach age 18, we start to think of ourselves as adults, and so does society. And we're allowed to get married, join the military, sign contracts, and a whole slew of other things. But they won't allow us to consume alcohol because we're not responsible enough. However, studies show that the brain is not done maturing until age 25, and that if you drink before then, you'll mess with the prefrontal cortex, which is towards the front of your brain, and it controls your impulse control, your risk management abilities, your decision making, and your personality, as well as other things. Our second reason leads us to why at an age younger than 21, you are allowed to sign your life away to the government and serve and risk your life and so on. Earlier this year in Maryland, a group of senators proposed that the drinking age be lowered for those who are actively in the military and have military IDs so that they could go and purchase alcohol. And one of those senators says, so if we're going to trust young men and women with jobs like working on nuclear missiles, defending our freedom, driving tanks, flying planes, and helicopters, then I certainly think we can trust them to drink a beer. So if we're responsible enough to do all these things that are potentially dangerous, you think that they would be able to trust us to drink. And while all this has credibility, we also have to take into consideration the standards and the location of these men and women in the military. If you're in combat, you want to know that the person next to you has a clear mind and that they're not in any way influenced by alcohol. And if someone like you or I were to get a DUI, we're going to face a fine and probably lose our license. But if someone in the military were to get a DUI, their career is basically over then and there. So moving on to our final reason, which is how it will legally affect those between the ages of 18 and 20. If these people were to be able to legally drink in a controlled environment, you would see a decrease in the amount of people who get injured while intoxicated and then don't go and get any help because they know they've been caught breaking the law. As well as you would potentially see families doing it together, so it wouldn't become something that's so something that they're not allowed to do, so it's not as you don't want to do it as much when you can do it. However, on the flip side, you would see people in these age ranges hanging around nightclubs, which increases the potential of them becoming victims of theft or assault. This debate is forever ongoing, and while it's talked about by many, few actually do it to make a difference and to get it changed. So while at age 18 you are considered an adult, your brain is still forming. And while you may be in the military, you still have to follow civilian laws. And even though it can be done in a controlled environment, it's also not necessarily the safest. So while this debate is surrounded by valid points of both sides, it is up to you guys to decide where you stand.